In Toronto, questions are swirling about how a woman fell to her death from her 24th floor balcony. The woman's family is pointing the finger at police who were in the apartment when it happened last night. The province's Special Investigations Unit is now looking into the incident. The CBC's Katie Nicholson joins me now from Toronto. Katie, the family and their lawyers held a news conference late this afternoon. What did you learn?
We definitely got a fuller picture as to what really happened according to the family through their lawyer. So essentially what we learned is that Regis Korchinski-Paquet has epilepsy or had epilepsy, and she had had a number of seizures yesterday, and this exacerbated a pre-existing mental health condition. And that's why the family says they called police. They were actually looking for help to calm her down. They were looking for help to get her to CAMH. For viewers outside of Toronto, that's a mental health hospital here. And they were hoping that that's what police would do. Instead, what happened was when police did come here, somehow she ended up going over the balcony and falling to her death some 24 stories. Now, exactly how all that happened is going to be the subject of an SIU investigation. But here's a little bit of what the family and their lawyer had to say today about their anger.
But I asked the police yesterday if they could take my daughter to CAMH, and my daughter ended up dead. So I don't understand.
The family is distraught over the senseless loss of life and wants justice for Regis. The family wants answers to what happened. How can a call for assistance turn into a loss of life?
And you know, initially when this happened, there was a lot of anger on social media, a lot of inflammatory comments and accusations from family members that police had thrown her over the balcony. And you know, that has sort of been walked back a bit here today. And what is clear is that we don't really know what happened there. And that is sort of the whole point of the SIU investigation right now. But certainly the family walking back some of the more inflammatory rhetoric that was circulating last night.
Katie, what's going on behind you there? There's a lot of music.
Yeah, there was, we just have somebody trying to drown out, there was some singing here a little bit earlier, and then someone a little higher up, I think, tried to drown out the sound, and I think they aren't particularly appreciative of having media camped out here on what is essentially their front lawn, where this memorial is to Korchinski-Paquet, which has been growing. People have been gathering here. There have been people not necessarily following social distancing rules, but this is a time of grief, so we're seeing people lay flowers and try to console one another as best they can. She came from a very large family. She was part of a church group, and you know, the pastor that we spoke with today told us that, you know, she was known as helpful, smiling, always willing to pitch in and help her community, and certainly her community, her church community, feeling a lot of anger today about what happened and her death. Her pastor actually told us that he woke up this morning and said, I woke up and I felt that she didn't need to die.
What are you hearing from police?
So, you know, the Toronto Police Chief, Mark Saunders, held a press conference today, and he explained that police were responding to what sounded like a very serious assault call, and he said he listened to the call, and it did sound, it was a very serious and urgent matter. Police are saying, you know, really, people need to calm down, don't jump to conclusions. He's asking that the public wait until the SIU completes its investigation. And, you know, part of that is in response to those inflammatory comments, the accusations that police had thrown the 29-year-old over the balcony. But a lot of it, too, is just trying to calm frayed nerves and tensions. Certainly we're seeing what's happening south of the border after the Minneapolis death, where we had a black man who died after an interaction with police. And it was something interesting that actually the family's lawyer mentioned today, and that was that, you know, in this time, this is sort of an intersection of marginalized people, so black people and the mentally ill sort of converging here in an interaction that went negatively with police. But here's a little bit of what Police Chief Mark Saunders had to say today, urging some calm from the public.
My ask is again that please base your actions on the evidence that you have. And that evidence is going to come through testimony, it's going to come through forensic evidence, whether it's fingerprints, DNA, in order to tell the full, complete story.
And you know, Carol, CBC News did an analysis of 460 police-involved fatalities over a 17-year period in Canada, and we found that in about 70% of those cases, it involved a victim who was in some form of mental distress, and that's why police forces have tried to step up their training for officers dealing with mental illness. And certainly that is going to be something that the SIU and the TPS is going to be looking at and asking questions as to what could have been done differently here.
Katie, thank you. The CBC's Katie Nicholson in Toronto.